Hello and welcome to another episode, another video in my second channel. I intended to have a more casual review of week's this week's chapter of One Piece chapter 1070. A lot happened and a lot of hype things happened, but in that review, my audio for my mic actually cut out, so I wasn't able to casually review it. Now I'm gonna talk about it though because a lot happened, a lot of hype moments, a lot of dark moments. Like, there was a time when I thought One Piece is about the adventure. Now, is it gonna be transitioning over to dark fantasy? Like this chapter 1079, titled Dreadhead Shanks. I legitimately thought this is a seinen manga. Like, I've read a fair share of seinen before, and it's now bordering that kind of darkness, like dark theme there. I mean, the amount of brutality Shanks and the giants dealt with kid. But let's take this step by step by starting with the chapter cover, because the chapter cover is quite interesting. It's just goofy. It's not a cover story, unfortunately. It's definitely the end of Germa 66 emotionless excursion. But, however, it is quite interesting because I feel like this is hinting on something. Because when I was watching another YouTuber's perspective in this review, he was pointing out the fact that Luffy's favorite flower is actually sandflower. And this is Luffy watering a line, mistaking it for a sunflower. And then there's also a couple fan arts of Shanks. And even Oda was pointing out that Shanks is, he would compare Shanks to a lion. So, just saying, it could be that beneath it all, Shanks has some hidden motives. And Luffy is just mistaken his good-natured as like good nature as his own personality, his own kind of point of view on Shanks, but deep inside Shanks is more of the sinister side. This could be hinting at, I don't know. There's something interesting, and I love this cover story. It's just a fan art request, but a fan request art, but I feel like it definitely needs to be spoken on. I feel like this is foreshadowing something. So yes, we need to keep an eye on this. I'm gonna be saving this on my computer right here. Also, it's Luffy. I love, you know me, I freaking love Luffy. So without further ado, let's go jump right into the beginning part of this chapter. The beginning parts is just it's just essentially Oda connecting it all to confirming that indeed York is acting alone with this kind of plans. Like, she was the one who ordered the seraphims to kill everyone, to turn her to stone to lessen his suspicion, because, well, she is not really the strongest part of out of all the satellites. She's not the strongest part, so she needs something. She needs some way to get out of all the fighting, of course. So she asks Snake to turn her into stone, and once no one is looking, that's when Snake is going to release the petrification. So, brilliant kind of 5D chess. But then again, she also noted that she knew that the world government did betray her, because how stupid the world government is gonna give you a celestial dragon title. Like, I mean, at the end of the day, I know she still wants to be a celestial dragon, but she has naively thought that just like that they're gonna give her a celestial dragon title. I mean, for all we know, she could betray the world government as well. So, of course, might as well just nip her in the bud alongside all the other Vegapunk satellites, right? So, there is another thing about this is Blackbeard is appearing right at the coast. It's really fascinating to me. Like, Kizaru is on the naval fleet coming to Egghead. He has He's like the fastest character. He has the fastest devil fruit of all time, and yet for some reason the Blackbeard pirates. So I did point out that it's interesting that Kizaru didn't appear first. Like appeared first and actually appeared before the Blackbeard pirates arrived. But I have to remember that, well, Kizaru also has a Gorosei member and is acting as if he's acting as the Gorosei's escort. So maybe it also makes sense that he came before Kizaru appeared. And they're still, I think they're still in preparation, but there's like a couple of minutes now, a couple of hours now. I feel like they could have been there already. How far apart is Kizaru from Akid, honestly? So it's just quite a shock to me. Like the Marines did not come first and arrive first. Instead the Blackbeard actually overtake them, and the fact that they were even overtaken by Luffy as well is just kind of mind-boggling. Like they're supposed to be planning it ever since Luffy arrived again, and yet here we are being beat down by two Yonko. just saying, food for thought there. Maybe the Marines did not act as quickly as they wanted it to be. Has arrived first, and honestly, it's not really a shocker for me because, well, for all we know, Aokiji could appear. I mean, Aokiji is a part of Blackbeard Pirates for right now, so maybe Aokiji. This could be Aokiji. Who knows? So I'm really open-minded about this, and I'm not gonna say this is something bad or whatever. Maybe he could be. I mean, Blackbeard could be plotting with York, and we don't know about it. But otherwise, it could also be Aokiji, right? Could easily be Aokiji. So yeah, that's the second part for the of the chapter. Yeah, I'm gonna keep referring to a lot of things. Another thing, I'm really hyped to see like the official anime, the anime for the Seraphim, because look at how cool. Like this is probably the first time we get to see all of them talk. I mean, as Snake did talk a brief moment when Lucci and Luffy was fighting, first encountered each other back in the tube thing. Yeah, Esnik did kind of a Tsundere persona there, and then spoke a brief line, but the Seraphim all understood and just talked for once. So this is the first time, and I really want to see their anime. I'm kind of hyped for their anime appearance. Yeah, and then of course the next plot thread is because, yeah, all of the citizens are now being evacuated, but I wonder if Blackbeard, the thing about this is, I wonder if Blackbeard is ever going to let these people go, or for all we know, the Marines are gonna let them, because I know that effed up enough to not let anyone go. I mean, look at Hoara. They haven't let anyone go in Hoara except for Robin. Like, and that's when Aokiji was that was Aokiji's own doing, why Robin got away. So, just saying, I wonder if they're gonna let these people, the workers and the civilians, run, just because they're evil. Like the world government is effed up in the head to not let them go, right? Like they're literally witness. They're witness in this time. They could ruin the reputation of the world government. I wonder if they will let them go. And then of course, Mark III are here and the coast guarding, standing by. Yep. I still like the design for the Mark III. I feel like if Vegapunk do join either the Revolutionary Army or the Neo Mads or even the Strat, I feel like he should bring a couple robots. I still thought that. And then we transition over to the Shanks. This is gonna be let's build up to this. The kid challenging challenging the one of the four emperors, Shanks, ready to go, meeting all of his powerful subordinates or allies. You got captain of the Puddle Pirates, Padded Toe Guillotine, who looks like a hybrid of a frog and a human. Honestly, he has a character quirk of always saying ribbit because he's a frog, got it? And then there's also the powerful princess of the bourgeoisie kingdom, I think. Paniki Pururu. He reminds me of a Tontata, honestly. She really reminds me of a Tontata. I wonder, it's bourgeoisie, but because there's a kingdom, I think that was Cavendish's original kingdom, the bourgeois. I wonder if she's connected to that. Yeah, and then the most powerful of all, head of the social club pirates, Grave Tooth Fugger, was just having his dentures. Is he still injured since one? I mean, Yasop literally said, well, he seems healthy enough for me. Like, okay, that's fine then. Like, I'll go all out. Like, just stuff like that. Like, him being such an honorable, good kind of dude. Just seeing if Custa's Captain Kid is injured, not underestimating them. Probably part of Shanks's moral. Like, even this comes back when Whitebeard first confronted Shanks. Like, even pirates have a moral code. Even when Big Mom and Kaido first confronted each other, they even said that, and this is definitely part of Shanks's code right here. And then, of course, and then of course, Shanks is also keeping tabs on Blackbeard. Shanks also is shown to have a spy within Blackbeard's crew, and spy. He's keeping tabs on Blackbeard. I mean, their rivalry has been built up for so long, ever since he was in Roger's crew, I believe. So he's keeping tab on Blackbeard. He's on guard around Blackbeard. I feel like it's either Blackbeard or Luffy that he was talking to the Gorosei with. I mean, I could be talking about Luffy awakening his devil fruit, or Blackbeard. I mean, he's been on guard ever since he encountered Whitebeard for the first time. He's been on guard around Blackbeard, and it's finally the question of why he was in the coast of Wano during those events is finally answered, and he's not there to, of course, bail Luffy out on Aramaki. He's there keeping tabs on Blackbeard because he thought that Blackbeard is gonna show up anywhere near Wano Kuni. So of course she's going to be there, and then just ended up helping out Luffy against Aramaki. Yep. And he was notified that Blackbeard just left Pirate Island, and then asked if they get some intel on Kid, and throw out the sheets, saying, okay, he's from South. He's been rampaging this long and causing a lot of ruckus in the world, huh? Again, very cautious guy right here. Shanks is a very, very much cautious individual. And then freaking Eustace charges up one of his most powerful moves, the railgun that he used against Big Mom, not Blackbeard, Big Mom, that toppled over Big Mom. Aim it at the freaking allies of Shanks, right there. And Shanks was like, it's gonna cause a lot of damage. Sees a brief future that it's gonna be even past his allies. The ally is gonna be destroyed. And then even Backman said, "Oh, you see a terrible future there, boss?" Jumps in in front of Kid, and divine departure the heck out of his freaking giant railgun. I mean, Giant Rogue Chuck, a Divine Departure field. Divine Departure, this same move that Roger used against Odin when they first clash each other. And you know what? Him having Odin's, one of Roger's strongest move, just makes sense to me, because you got to remember, Roger is like a father figure, mentor kind of figure on Shanks. So him inheriting his fighting style is probably something he would definitely adapt on his fighting style. So yes, I also pointed out that though Shanks carries a sword, it's not primarily that. I think this was on one of my TikToks, that though Shanks carries a sword, it doesn't really necessarily means Shanks fights mainly with a sword. He could have some sort of martial arts, but this pretty much confirms that he primarily fights with a sword. So no martial arts, it's just sword, because well, Roger is primarily a swordsman. So yes, that confirms it for me again, and that's also elevate the fact that Mihawk is also somewhere close to Shanks' level of strength. So another tidbit on Mihawk's strength level, and how far apart Zoro and Mihawk. Like, many people started speculating that Zoro could it be that far apart on Mihawk's feet, but ever since the Pika fight, they thought that Zoro is somewhere close to Mihawk. But now that this seems to be like the case, where Shanks is definitely the closest to Roger's level, and then Mihawk closer to have a closer gap on Shanks, that also brings us the idea that Zoro and Mihawk still has that wide gap between the two of them. So I like that. A little bit tidbit on Zoro and Mihawk's kind of gap. It's still freaking wide, and then Mihawk being somewhere close to Shanks, either stronger than Shanks or weaker than Shanks. It's relatively close. So that's what I like about this bit right there. In terms of power scaling wise, Shanks is closer to Mihawk, and then Shanks also pretty close to, I think, pretty close to a Pirate King level, and then Mihawk is pretty close in power and strength to Shanks. Mihawk and Shanks have a close gap between them, and then Zoro is freaking built right at the very bottom, and then will climb up and freaking surpass Mihawk right there. So a little bit of a power scale. I don't really do power scaling though. I hate power scaling in anime, because they mostly don't make sense in anime anyway. So that's only my take on power scaling, but at least that confirms the strength level for Mihawk. It's kind of a novelty, like honor kind of thing, that Mihawk also don't fight Shanks because he only got one arm. So I also love the relationship between Mihawk and Shanks right there. So yeah, him inheriting Roger's fighting style, I freaking love that. So yeah, I freaking love that bit of the showing of divine departure right there. Conqueror's hockey that is, and then, of course, Killer jumped in trying to block divine departure, kind of reminiscent of Zoro blocking Kaido. But of course, he's no Kaido, he's no Zoro, man. He's no, mad respect for my boy Killer here, but he's no Zoro. So of course, he also went along with his captain. And then I think this was Heat and Wire. They literally, seeing their vice captain and captain down, Wire and Heat literally surrendered. If it's surrendered their poneglyph, this also confirms that Kid does have the Zo poneglyph because I can see 3 poneglyph rubbing. So this confirms that they do have the Zo rubbings on them, which is quite interesting to point it out. Now Shanks is caught up. I don't even think. I feel like Shanks know how to go to Laughter. Does he even need? Because if he was the One Piece, does he even need the rubbings? Because he traveled with Roger. He could have gone there already, right? So why act? Maybe he was waiting for something, and many people have speculated it could be Luffy's awakening. He's waiting for Luffy to awaken, or maybe he's waiting for both Big Mom and Kaido to be taken out of the picture. But then again, he could have gone in and taken them out himself, though, right? Like maybe Luffy's awakening when Luffy becomes strong enough, because he is kind of gatekeeping the One Piece. So maybe he's waiting for Luffy's awakening to actually take action. That's my food for thought there. Because I feel like he definitely knows how to get to Laugh Tale. And then, of course, to add salt to the already reddened wound right here, count it an injury even, freaking Dory and Broggy out of the coast of the island. Hakoko's sovereignty, the attack that hit the giant goldfish in Little Garden onto Victoria Punk, absolutely destroying the freaking Victoria Punk. And I made the joke that Kid is dead, but I don't think it's dead though. Like one way or another, either freaking Saul or the giant marked by fire, the guy marked by flames is gonna save him. Maybe a giant that is sympathetic to Kid, because well, giants hates Big Mom for what he did with their elders, right? Maybe a giant that is very sympathetic to Kid save them. Maybe the guy marked by flames will save him, or maybe another YouTuber also said the Clobertomon and Victoria Punk, because in an SBS Oda actually answered that the Victoria Punk is named after a childhood crush, a childhood friend, and a childhood crush of Eustace. And the fact that it was named after someone, to a loved one, I feel like they have a lot of sentimental value of the ship, and they love the ship. So maybe Clobertomon might be able to save them. I'm not quite sure. So I wonder about how, because I highly doubt that Kid is dead. I don't think he's gonna be taken out of the picture that easily. Maybe their ship is destroyed, but I feel like they definitely survive. Another thing is that makes me believe that Kid might have survived this is the way narrator box is implementing the destruction of the Kid pirates is parallel to how Luffy back in Sabaody wipe out. But then again, this could also indicate, because Victoria Punk is destroyed, so how could they ship out now? So this food for thought for me, and I still don't believe, despite the fact that Victoria Punk is destroyed, I don't think it's gonna be that big of an issue for them to return. But then again, the narrator box telling us that on this day, the Kid pirates, led by Captain Eustace, Captain Kid, was eradicated. That whole spiel by the narrator box just reminds me of the way he was talking about it back when Luffy and the Strats were wiped out on Sabaody. So for me, I do think due to this, I do think they might have survived and they might come back. If I don't know how or how they will manage to go back on the running again, but I do think they at least survive. Not the ship though. I wonder if they're gonna get a new ship. I mean, they could have a new Viking ship, but then again, that ship has sentimental value. That's probably gonna be like an emotional kind of character arc development for Captain Kidd there. I just want him to be at least at the final, because he's won the final. I feel like I just want him to be at the final leg for the race for the One Piece. You know, like he's supposed to be like Luffy's rival. He should at least be competing at Laugh Tale and not be taken out here. Maybe he's gonna train up for at least a few days. That's the only thing that I can give to Kid, and then maybe rescued by a giant or maybe a Clabartum or whatever. I think one of those things is gonna be helping Kid and the Kid Pirates along the way. So I'm gonna be staying tuned, and I'm really hyped for his comeback. I think he definitely deserves. He's one of those characters that does deserve a comeback, because he's been taking nothing but L ever since he went to the New World. He deserved a W, man. He deserved to at least survive this attack. He deserved to be at the final stage for the Battle of One Piece. But I wonder if they're gonna train them, because it's too late in the game. A lot of people is now on the hunt for the One Piece, and he's now starting with absolutely zero. So it's gonna be a lot. It's gonna take him a lot to catch up with Luffy, Law, and Shanks. Like, there's a lot of people now competing for the One Piece. It's too late to train up. So I wonder how he can. I'm quite excited for Kid's comeback. I definitely think he's gonna come back anytime soon. So I'm staying tuned with Kid. I don't think Kid is dead just yet. And then the lines that Dory and Broggy said, kind of reminiscent of what Shanks said during when the bandits first attacked Luffy, first kidnapped Luffy or threatened them with a gun. Like, hey, little people, if you're gonna aim a cannon to an island, you better prepare for them to fire back. Like, essentially saying, if you're gonna aim at someone, better risk your life for it, right? Like, I think that's kind of reminiscent of Shanks a little bit. So, initial thought there, I think this is still overdoing it, but I don't think Kid died. Neither do Killer. So I wonder about that. That's something that I still think they definitely survived there. I don't know how they could have survived, how they will catch up. I think I'm still hyped on how they're gonna come back from this. So that would be it for me talking about One Piece chapter 1079.